Welcome to the Empower Hour.
Welcome.
My name is Alqamar.
And I am the co-host, Hanifah.
And this is the Empower Hour, where we take 1 hour out of your week to discuss some impactful, pertinent information that affects us in the community. So, today's topic is going to be on talking Black empowerment, too Black, too strong, and dating white. What does that mean? What does that entail? Is that even possible? Is it a contradiction? Is it okay?
Right.
So we're going to hash that out. We're going to tackle that topic today. But of course, before we get started, as we like to do what we always do and share with you guys where we are in this wonderful eLife Media studio at 9185 Central Avenue, this in Capitol Heights, Maryland, inside of the Everlasting Life Restaurant and Lounge. Everlasting Life is the main hub of 3 locations. This one here, as well as there's 2 other restaurants in your Tacoma Park section of Washington, D.C. You'll find Evolve Restaurant and Lounge, as well as Vigoritos. Okay, so definitely go check. If you can't come get the healthy, wholesome, good-for-you food, and you're not on this side of the world in Capitol Heights, certainly check them out in Washington, D.C. They have the same awesome food there as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into this discussion. And then midway, we're going to come back around and talk to you guys a little bit more about some of the things we have going on here at Everlasting Life. Hanifah.
Oh, come on. Such a touchy topic.
Such a touchy
talking
topic.
about today.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did we even come to this consensus of even wanting to tackle this topic?
Actually, interestingly, we had discussed it together, a couple of us, you, myself, Jeannie.
Uh-huh.
And then, like a couple of weeks after, Umar Johnson, right, that whole controversy,
on the Roland Martin show.
Yes, came out. And so I was like, oh, wow, we were just discussing this a couple of weeks before.
We sure
so
were.
why not talk about it?
Right.
It's kind of trending right now. It's encouraging dialogue, healthy dialogue.
Yes.
In the Black community. So why not? On the Empower Hour, why not?
I agree. Yeah. And that's how it came about. We were like, oh, wow, yeah, this seems like a topic that a lot of our community are have their ears to the ground about.
And have strong opinions on
Very,
both sides of the argument, yes.
Yes. If you guys want to call into the studio, we welcome your calls. The hotline number is 240-455-5934. Again, it's 240-455-5934. Or you can chat your comments, questions right here on the Facebook stream, and we're going to do our very best to get to them there as well. Did you want to go first? You have a statement, you have a question, you have...
No, for me, I know statistically, most married Black men, Black women are married to Black men and Black women.
Overwhelmingly.
Right? Overwhelmingly, right? And so the numbers are not, for interracial relationships, are not that high. However, the media would have you to think otherwise, right?
Good
and
point.
because they're pushing that image for whatever they read, and we could touch on that too.
Yeah.
What is behind that? What message are they trying to put out there, or what agenda are they pushing? Right? We could talk about that.
Right. So what are the statistics though? Do you know offhand?
No, I don't know the numbers.
I know the last I checked, and it's been a while. It's been at least a year or so. The last I checked, and of course we all know the numbers. It can never be exact. But it was something like 12% of Black men marry outside of their race. So, and then and the percentage for women, which I found was very interesting, was like 4%.
It was much lower.
Yeah. Okay. So men do it like 3 times as much as women do, and that's one of my questions too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. As I was thinking about the question, because I know we was going to do the show today, I was processing it. I'm like, what exactly are we asking? Are we asking, is it okay for us to date interracially or marry interracially? Or are we asking people who are consider themselves pro-black? Because there is a difference.
Yes.
There's
Yes,
a difference. Because
there
we have
is.
many people who are in our communities, right, who are married to black people and could care less about black issues.
That's true. Many. A lot.
You know, so it's sort of like, who are we focusing on here? Are we
Right.
focusing on those who are proclaiming pro-blackness, black consciousness?
Right.
Or are we talking about the average person?
Right. I think we're talking about those who are fighting on behalf of black liberation and
Okay.
black empowerment.
Okay.
Actively.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, forcefully.
Yes, they're in the forefront.
They're in
out
the
there,
forefront.
they're known. Yes, okay.
Known for, fighting on behalf of our empowerment, but go home to a someone who is not black
Okay.
as a mate,
Okay.
partner, a life partner.
Yes. So that narrows it down.
Right.
And it makes it easier to answer the question.
Okay. Okay.
So just bear in mind, for those of you that are watching, our focus is on those who are
Yes.
proclaiming to fight for black progression, empowerment, and so forth.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
So do you have a question? Because I see you.
I have many.
I see.
Okay, where do I start? Since we're sticking on this subject,
Okay.
that kind of, it changes the dynamics of my questions too. So, but let me ask you this one.
Okay.
Can we help who we fall in love with? I hear that a lot. You can't help who you fall in love with, and love is blind. And what do you think about
posted a
that?
status not too long ago, and I asked the question, love, a choice or a feeling? And the responses were very interesting.
That
So
was a
we
good
have
question.
some people who feel like it's both.
Okay.
Some people feel like you can have a feeling, but what you do with it, right, is your choice, right? So that's what they're saying. They feel like it's a combination of both. Some people feel like it's straight feelings, right? You cannot help who you fall in love with, you know? I personally feel that it's a combination of both as well. This is just my opinion, right? So if you're for black empowerment, black upliftment, black progression, right? You can have that feeling. You can be attracted to a white person, right? You can, right? But what you do with that is really where the issue comes in,
Okay.
right? And for me personally, the question is, can they date or marry interracially and be for the progression of black people, right?
Okay.
The answer is we can do whatever. For me, you can do whatever you want. But when you do what you want, you also have to know that there are consequences attached to that, right? So I feel like it diminishes their voice somewhat,
Okay.
just a little bit, because
Okay.
people are looking like
Diminishes. You said it right, but your accent.
Oh,
it tickles me.
sorry.
You said something that didn't sound like diminishes.
Oh
but
my
go
gosh.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So for me personally, I feel like you can do whatever you want, but know that there's going to have some consequences, some backlash with that.
Yes.
People may not take you as serious
Okay.
as you would probably like them to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your voice in the movement becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Not as strong.
Not as strong. I think so.
And what about those who are staunchly advocating against that type of arrangement, but are looking up to you for guidance and leadership and stuff? Now, what happens in that instance? Do you lose your audience?
For some, yes. And then you also influence, especially if they are young minds
Okay.
that are following you.
Okay.
There's that influence where now they are getting the message that it's okay to do both.
Why is it not okay?
I don't know if I want to. Why is it not okay?
Why can't you be
Because-
fighting for black empowerment and dating a somebody who's not black?
You can do it if you want, but your message is not going to be as strong as the person who have made a different choice as far as they made.
Yeah.
You can. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be people who are going to follow that person regardless. Because maybe whatever they're contributing to the community is of more importance than who they lie with at night.
Okay.
And so I think it's all about how we view it.
Okay.
Me personally, I think it just affects the strength of your voice
Of
in
the
of the message in the community.
I think it's a contradiction for me. Okay. I think that, it's to be so strong, because if you're fighting on behalf of black empowerment, I would imagine that the family unit is at the center of that fight.
It is, yes.
What are you doing it for? If it's not for that, is it for selfish reasons, or is it to really advance and build the black community, which is the family, again, is the core of that.
I was going to say that is the core of that. That's
right.
The foundation of that.
Right. So in the foundation of what you're fighting on behalf of and to strengthen, is not a black, you're outside of the black empowerment, then for me, that's a conflict for me in my own mind. It's like, how is that aligned with what you're fighting for? So it becomes a contradiction for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm with you, and I'm with those who.
It appears to be, to me, it appears to be a contradiction. Within their heart, do they feel like it's a contradiction? Probably not.
I said for me.
No, right. I got it. That's what I'm saying. To
right.
us, it appears to be a contradiction.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
Right.
Because if I don't see your spouse, right. and you're going hard for black people,
right.
and then I run into you somewhere, and your spouse is white, I am going to be taken aback. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real for me. It's just, and just swinging back a little about the, can you help who you fall in love with? My father used to always say to me, your brain is at the top of your body for a reason. And meaning that the brain controls everything in the body, every other organ, facet in the body. And so if the brain is above the heart, then for me, I think that, logic and comes to play when it comes to choosing your mate too. I think when people say we can't help who we fall in love with, well, what if a bum off the street came and said some real, powerful things in your ear that, tingled you a certain way? Are you going to go, and turn around and marry that bum? Most 99.9% of us who are in the position of somebody, a street person, is not going to do that. And so to say you can't help who you fall in love with and all that stuff, to me, it's like that. I don't understand that concept either, because you should always be using your head, you know what I'm saying, and your heart too, but your head above all others.
But when we speak in the context of war, because we are at war.
Yes, we are at war. Some of us don't even recognize that, though.
Some of these things need to be put aside.
What you mean?
For the cause. Period. Like this love thing, this whole feeling. It sometimes it have to be pushed aside. Yeah. For the cause. For the common cause. For the common cause at the end of the day, right? Yeah. But we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what we don't really touch on that. And also too, I personally feel like when you're talking about pro-blackness, you can't speak pro-blackness without talking about quote unquote white supremacy.
Okay.
How do you fight white supremacy and go home and like how? What does that look like? What are the conversations?
Right.
Right? And don't get me wrong, there are white people who, they're very few, but they're there.
Yeah.
Who know the privilege that they have.
Yeah.
They understand how white supremacy works and so forth.
Right.
Okay? They're very few and far in between though.
Right.
And these are not the people who we're seeing marrying pro-black, our leaders in the black community and so forth. It makes no sense, Now, the contribution piece for me is the part where I'm wrestling with. Mm-hmm. Do we discount or cast aside their contributions to our communities.
Who? The European?
No, the black leaders who have chosen maybe white mates, right?
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass, for example, right? Okay, he married black, and then afterwards he married white.
Right.
You know, he has made some serious, right, contributions. He's helped shape a lot of black minds.
True.
So do we discount him for that? I don't think so.
Right. I agree. I don't think so. But I do believe his message becomes watered down. You know, I do. It's almost like, you know, yeah, I hear you, but I'm side-eyeing you because, you know what I'm saying? So it becomes like a trust issue.
But most of us our brains have already received and filtered and processed that information before we even find out about his being married.
Right.
You can't give it back. You can't give that knowledge back. It's already done its job. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So, yeah, you might say the message is well done, but is it? Because when it came to you, you had no knowledge of the fact that he was married to a white woman.
Okay, I agree. So what happens to then the structure of a marriage like that? So let's say, and most men have unfortunately pass over before their wives. It's like 8 out of 10 times that happens. So the likelihood of the man passing over first is far greater than the woman. And so if you're married, if you're fighting on behalf of black empowerment, and you've built a strong and firm foundation for your family financially and everything else,
you've built wealth.
You build wealth, and you're gone. Who gets that wealth?
The wife and the kids.
So you get
that money is out of our community.
So that money goes right on back to the hands of
absolutely, which is an issue.
Another question I had also was, when you marry, is it just a marriage between a husband and wife and that's it? Or do you marry into each other's family unit? And
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to touch on that as well. I think what's killing us is that we don't think as a collective.
That's right.
Right? We have adopted this individualistic mindset, and that is not African.
It's European.
It is not African.
Let's put it where it belongs.
It is not African.
We are village people. We are community oriented. Or were before we got into it and linked with another culture who is not their culture. But I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I'm just saying it's we've gotten away from that. So it becomes this thing as I'm gonna elope, right? It's between me and this person and I, and no one else's business, you know. And we can do whatever we want. So we don't think of the collective. We don't think of the collective across the board. When we go to college and get education, we're looking to maybe set a foundation in certain places. We're not thinking about the collective. We're thinking about individuals, ourselves, our family unit, our immediate family.
Right.
Not collectively as a community. We don't ever really process, how does this affect my community?
Right.
And that's what we need to get back to.
Right.
Because what affects your child affects my child.
That's
if you are abusing your child, right, and you are damaging their psyche, you know something? That affects my household as well, because your child might decide one day to kill my child.
Yep.
Because of the damage that you've done to them.
We are social creatures by nature.
Absolutely.
You know, unless you're going to keep that child in the house for the rest of their life, that child's going to be interacting with the world and may come in contact, like you said, with my child or whatever, and then that in turn causes conflict. And so that is the disturbing factor of accepting an individualistic mind state. That ain't none of my business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. All to each his own. All those things that we have
that's that family
along the way. That's them. They, you know, oh well, let them do what they gonna do. I'm gonna do mine this way. But like you said, I think that's tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You know, we're not looking at the whole aspect of the entire aspect of life and how, you know, life, different scenarios play out with just tunnel vision. And we suffer because of those type of thought processes. I do have another question, but before we get started on that, I want to go and jump in because I know the stream is a little on fire today. Let's see what you guys have to say.
Well, we have a couple of people talking.
And I also want to say, if you guys are watching us out there and you are currently in this type of relationship, please call in and share your experience. We promise that we will not beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Hanifa and I both tend to have strong views and strong convictions. Yes. But I respect everybody's voice. I'm one that really, really believes in, allowing people to speak their minds, even if you don't agree with them. So, call in 240-455-5934.
Tanisha says, white supremacy is pushing the interracial marriage issue in order to create a new wave of sympathy for white fragility in the black community.
Oh wow! What you mean by that? Break that down.
The whites that they're pushing interracial because there's this white fragility and white tears is what they say, you know.
Okay.
And so she's saying that in order to create a new wave of sympathy for white fragility in our community. So if they're having babies with us, they're marrying us, you know, we will be a little bit more sympathetic towards them. That's what she's saying.
I think it's a far more sinister reason why we see it so much. But let's see. Okay, Alex said in their mind. I think I'm getting half of your message, Alex. In their minds, we do. My brother has a white wife. Her sister's daughter thinks I'm her uncle. Oh, he said, I told her it doesn't work like that. So going back to conjoining the family, that we don't just marry just, you know, for me and you or for whoever your partner is. You marry on to the whole family. Both families are conjoined. There's family reunions, there's birthdays, there's weddings and other things that go on within both facets of the family. So what happens if you're married to somebody outside of your race, but the vast majority of the people in their family are against this type of relationship, and now you bring children into this union, and now the children go over to aunts and uncles, a lot of divisions, who not really feeling them, really. You know what I'm saying? You know, so a lot, you know, we have to consider all those dynamics.
No, we do. I agree, and we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly, we don't.
Because we selfishly do things for, you know, without thinking about the collective.
And that's generally in just relationships who we choose as a mate, not just interracial relationships. Bruce Cox says, I understand the historical significance of not dating outside the community because historically, those of mixed parentage have been held above Africans and used as buffers for the privilege. True. However, the question becomes, should people approach relationships on an individual level or on a social level?
That's
which is kind of what we're talking about. Yeah.
Exactly. And if we're dealing in African-centered, then of course it's the village.
I was speaking to someone just yesterday, and he was saying to me, I mean, he made a good point. You know, he was saying he lives in a diverse community, and there's a lot of interracial marriages there, and he was saying that there is no white male that is married to a black female that is just allowing her to have full range with his kids, right? So my response was, well, that's not true, because I know a couple of interracial people who the women are stay-at-home moms, the black woman, and they're married to white men. And he said, exactly. They make the decisions for their family. I can guarantee you that. They decide what sports the kids are going to go into, what school they go into, because they are the ones bringing in the money. So I thought that was an interesting point. You know, I didn't go back and forth because I was trying to hear him.
Right.
And it made, you know, I know what he would. It really, when you think about it, yes, because that's the person that's the breadwinner.
Right.
Of the family.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking because she's home, I'm looking at the time spent.
Yeah.
With the child, and he's like, no, but any serious decision, no. That man is making those decisions for his family at the end of the day. They're not. He's like, white people is not letting that happen.
Yeah. Because see, my whole thought, my whole mind state about it goes to, again, outside of the love tingling, touchy feeling, oh, I love you, smooches. It's like the responsibility of what you're doing. And so, again, that's why I asked, do you marry the person or the entire family? And what does it do to the children in a union like that? Let me share. I have a close girlfriend, and I'm one of mine that if you have a black mother or father, some people try to distinguish, and that's what they do. But I believe you're black. You know what I'm saying? If you have one over the other, you might have a black mother and white father, or vice versa. And here's the child. Well, I believe that child then becomes black.
I'm the opposite, but go ahead.
Okay, but I have a good girlfriend that we've had a lot of heart-to-hearts with. And her mother is Asian, her father is black, right? And so, of course, her father raised her from 3 years old. So he remarried to another Asian woman, but he raised her. And we had a lot of heart-to-heart, she and I. And she would share with me how, growing up. And she would tell me about, so she said, I don't advocate interracial marriages. She said, you don't understand. She said, I never had a place growing up. She said, I always felt I wasn't black enough for the black community, and I certainly wasn't Asian enough for my Asian community. And so she said, I always felt somewhere in the middle, in limbo. And that, she said, that took a lot, psychologically for her to handle growing up. And so she has her own children now, her own black children now. And she always says that she always, advocates not to do that. So I just thought that was interesting, just coming from somebody, a mixed interracial
Yeah,
child.
the interracial piece for me, and that's why I said I'm a little bit the opposite on that.
Okay.
Only because of the whole one drop rule.
Yeah.
Who gave us that?
You know who gave us that.
Yeah. So why do we take it on as our own? Like, we believe that this is the gospel. Like, yes, they're black because they have one drop of black blood. I don't agree with that. Like,
Okay.
I don't agree with that. So when I see interracial kids, I'm like, that's what they are. They're biracial. It's a mixture of both. That's how I see it.
When does it not become a mixture then?
That's a good question, because I'm talking about when we look at white-black dynamics, where we're obviously looking at a black parent and a white parent,
Right.
and then we're saying, well, they're black.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
Well, hold that thought, family. Hanifah and family. Oh, keep sharing. And again, if I can't get to your comments, are you able to see their comments?
Yes, I can. Yep.
On your
Yes,
so
I can.
good. So Hanifah's grabbing hold of you guys' comments. We want to swing on back and talk to you a little bit more about what we do here at Everlasting Life Restaurant and Lounge, 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Come on and visit us, family. We have coming up our Solstice Shopping Bazaar, which takes place the first Saturday of every month. And if you joining us on elifemedia.net, you will see the beautiful flyers that we are taking and putting up on the screen. This Saturday, we have two special guests. The flyer. Can I see the flyer, brother? I appreciate you, doctor. Okay. This Saturday, we have two special guests coming, two celebrity chefs. Chef Keedy, you guys may be familiar with him. He does a whole lot of work around holistic health and healing as it pertains to food being medicine. He will be here doing a presentation, as well as Chef Lauren Vanderpool. She is also a celebrity chef. Some of her clients used to include Dr. Sebi, as well as they include Patti LaBelle, Stevie Wonder, Common, Serena Williams. So she caters to a lot of the black stars in Hollywood. She's going to be here with us Saturday, August 5th. Her presentation, she's going to do a free cooking demonstration that starts at 12:30. And then Chef Keedy is going to start his presentation at 4 p.m. So that's the Solstice Shopping Bazaar. We'll have vendors all day, starting from 12, running to 6 p.m. all day. So you come shop, come meet the celebrity chefs, and come mix and mingle, come get some good healthy food, come join us for the Solstice Shopping Bazaar. And then we also have the movie, dinner in the movie night, each and every Friday night, again, right here at Everlasting Life. We take a new documentary pertaining to us, what's going on in our communities, and we hash it out. So we air the documentary, and then it's followed by a group discussion. Again, we do a new documentary each and every Friday, and that's from 7 to 9 p.m. right here at Everlasting Life. That is also free. Come on and join us. If you're hungry, you can just grab something to eat, sit down, and enjoy the movie. The discussions be very, very, very impactful. Very interesting discussions. We're airing the movie Out of Darkness. The documentary. This is 3 parts, so we're going on part 2 this Friday. So come on and join us for that. And then, what else do we have going on? Oh, Deja Vu Thursdays at Evolve Restaurant and Lounge. That's 341 Cedar Street Northwest in DC. Deja Vu Thursdays, they do a special happy hour from 5 to 9 p.m. So check them out. They are right adjacent to the Tacoma Park Metro Station. So if you get off of Tacoma Park, literally a half a block up the street, the same side of the Metro Station, you run right into Evolve Restaurant and Lounge. So come on out on Thursdays and join them there for that. Okay. So that is what some of the things we have going on here at Everlasting Life. Let's jump back into the discussion.
So we want to talk to the audience, right?
Yes, we do.
So what's his name? Kareem wants to know, what am I talking about? Black is the dominant gene. That is why.
Okay. And I agree with him. That whole the melanin. Although. And if you're just joining us, family, we are discussing the dynamics of dating white if you're fighting on behalf of Black empowerment, right? So that's what our discussion is.
My thing is that if we feel that Black is the dominant gene, right? And I'm gonna be playing devil's advocate here.
Yes.
If we feel that Black is the dominant gene, then what's the issue again with mixing? Can't it be used as strategy since Black is the dominant gene?
Some people will say that, but I'm going to share with you, and this is not my thought process. I got this information from the Irritated Genie. He broke down to me something I found very interesting. He said we always just conclude that, you know, if we mix races, eventually they'll all be Black. He said, but if you take a Black person and a white person, mix them, and they have a mixed child, then you take that mixed child and mix that mixed child with a European baby.
Yeah, we went through that.
Then they become even lighter, right? Now you take that light child and mix it with another European child. What do you get?
A European child.
So how does then Black, if dating interracially, you wipe out the white race?
But then you can also have a Black child with a biracial child born from a white-Black relationship, and that child may or may not marry white. They may marry Black. I mean, this can go either way.
Yeah, but his point should not be ignored because it's happened before in history.
I agree.
I mean, all you got to do is look at the Arab.
I agree.
You look at other nations around the world who were once all Black. That's Africa now.
Absolutely.
Keep that in mind.
Those civilizations.
Right.
And also, too, where they were infiltrated. And a part of the strategy was to dilute, because a lot of them, the mulatto, what we would call mulattoes, of that time are kind of who helped them with their conquest.
Yeah.
They choose their white daddies or, over the Black parents, and that added to that. But I'm saying it can go either way as well, where you can have a biracial child and they don't necessarily have to marry white and have kids with a white person.
That's true, but if you're dealing with a mindset of people who believe that white is right and anything European is better than black, then, you know, and that mindset spreads because it does. And now you have a whole nation of people, or close to a whole nation of people who feel that way. Then that scenario I just described becomes very real. I think about the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Versus Haiti, and all that fighting is one island, and they over there fighting like cats and dogs over, you know, because you're not my brother.
Right.
You not Haitian, y'all too dark, y'all too black, you know what I'm saying? Get out of here, get out of my place. Same island now.
Right, and that's the thing I think we need to understand. Here in America, as black Americans, we tend to really think that the black struggle is our struggle. This thing is global.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Global.
Because you're talking about the Dominican Republic, we can go as far as the Dravidians of India. You know, a lot of it are color, like color, the color of one's skin, the blackness of someone is at the root of a lot of it. But we don't, so when scholars, white scholars write these books and about these wars, they often fail to mention that.
Right.
That this was a key part of this particular war, of this particular genocide.
What's that?
You know, the blackness of these particular people, wiping them out.
The
same
booty,
thing we're seeing.
the booty of war, isn't it? And that's what they call the booty of war, when you take the woman and she becomes, you know, she becomes yours now. You are the conquerors,
right?
And you know, that's part of the booty of war.
I can't go back up. So I'm trying to
stop man.
Because
if you guys
came
have
out
a point, really a strong point you really want to get out there, copy, paste it, send it again because we're having a little trouble getting all your comments. Let me see if I can get, but keep talking.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask, so there was something, integration, which I often like to call assimilation. There is there's no integration. We just assimilated into the dominant culture, right?
Okay.
So I think, what do you feel about integration? Do you think that plays a big role in what we're seeing today as far as interracial marriages, relationships? Do you think integration played a big part? Is a big part in that?
Absolutely, positively, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, you just watch the statistics and see how different they are now versus, you know, days when we weren't integrated. I mean, that was really like a no across the board. So yeah, we take on, you know, we take on the characteristics of the dominant race.
Culture,
that's just,
and I feel like a part of that is survival. You know, we think that that's what we have to do in all. Yeah, think right. But what you think is kind of what matters, because if I don't think that way, I'm not going to act on it. If I think that way, I'm going to act on it. So if I think that this matters to my survival, then I'm going to do whatever is necessary. And this is where assimilation comes in, and this is where adapting the Eurocentric mindset comes in. A lot of people are not deliberately doing it because I so hate my blackness. For them, it's a matter of survival. Yeah. I mean, at least from people that I've seen, specifically like the workplace, right? You'll see maybe a sister that just turns off what we call her blackness, right? When she's at work. But we're sitting down with her somewhere having drinks, you're looking like, two different people. Two different people.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. But for me, and again, I can only, you know, come from the periphery of my own vision. But for me, a matter of survival is to protect my blackness. You know what I'm saying? I get that everybody don't feel that way, but for me, that's what it is. And it's like, I want to preserve my blackness. I don't want to whitewash it and water it down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess that's what different. It's funny you asked that question, because one of mine was, is the American melting pot helping or hurting us?
Multiculturalism.
The multicultural. We see, when we say it and hear it, it just comes with this, fuzzy, warmy feelings. It invites everyone. It's all multiculturalism, and everybody, let's all link arms and we are the world and get along. Is that natural? Is that in a natural state of existence? Because keep in mind, I think America pretty much, I wouldn't say this is the only nation on earth that does that, but it's more so than any other nation on earth.
Someone had asked, they had a discussion here, and they were asking integration or segregation or something. That was the question. And I was more on the segregation part for a time.
Okay.
For temporary just temporarily.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I think integration, when quote unquote integration, when that happened, we were not strong enough. You will not, your culture will not survive in a dominant culture that's already been established. You're just coming out of the gates, and then we go right into what we call integration. We weren't strong enough. So am I for segregation? Yes, until we can heal some of these issues. It's very, very important. Yes. I mean, I don't know if that sounds extreme, but for me, it's absolutely necessary so that we need a lot of healing.
Absolutely.
We need a lot of healing. We're like the child in the equation. We're like that child in the equation where they soak up everything. I'm thinking about my own son, I am the authority figure. And until we stop seeing white people as the authority figure, as the standard for beauty, we're not ready to assimilate, to integrate. We're not.
I agree with you
We
wholeheartedly.
don't even have our own standards of beauty.
The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. You might say, people may disagree with you, but then you look around. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Look around and look at where we are as a nation within this place and society called America versus the European. And everything that comes with that, as far as economics, as far as the standard of beauty, as far as the media, as far as every workforce. I mean, you name it. We are at the bottom of the totem pole, and that doesn't happen by accident, And I think when we lose sight of our own culture and our own understanding of who we are as people on this earth, and we adopt another person's culture that is the dominant, and we go along with that, we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves. We become blinded, blinded from who we are, naturally and innately.
Right.
Right. So we put on these wigs, European wigs. We put on light blue, light green eye contacts. We dress like them. So your own culture, which is African, becomes a turn-up nose. I don't want to wear that. Give me a suit and tie, or give me a, you know what I'm saying? That's because we have adopted another culture that is not our own, and now we are out here losing our minds.
Yeah.
We out here losing our minds. And the crazy thing, because anyway, but go ahead.
No, I wanted to go to the viewers. Someone said, Alex said, we're not designed to mix with them genetically. I guess that's the difference between man, human, black, and mankind, white, a kind of man. It's a downgrade of genes. It's like crossbreeding a wolf and a Yorkie. That relationship is not cosmically designed to happen. The Yorkie will figure out a way to become dominant, even though it's inferior to the wolf, due to the wolf's natural ability to be superior. Same thing with the human and mankind. Being black and crossbreeding with the race that systematically oppresses you and your people makes you ineffective to the true cause of self-empowerment. And I think that's my point.
Teach.
That pillow talk is a real threat to black empowerment.
Who said
I
that?
agree. This is Alex.
Go
Allen.
ahead, Alex.
Yes.
Teach on that. I love
Yes.
it, and I agree 110%. Are we all the same except for the color of our skin?
Is that your question?
Yeah.
You go ahead and answer that one. No, we're not.
No, absolutely. That
We're
is
not.
another European lie that we have bought into, like all the other lies that we bought into in this society. We are not all the same except for the color of our skin. As a matter of fact, there's nothing that is the same about us inside or out. Our genetics are different. We don't look the same. We don't sound the same. Our hair texture is different. We think differently. Our blood genes. It's just everything. Even down to our taste buds. We don't even taste food the same.
Which is what we touched on as far as the whole individualism versus collectivism. Like being collective in thinking or individualistic in thinking. That's not us.
Right.
That individualistic thinking is not us. But we don't know that.
I know we don't.
We live in a dominant society and we're so oppressed mentally, psychologically,
Yes,
to
we
where
are.
we don't even realize our own thoughts are not ours.
That's right. And let me just shoot this out for those who may still be questioning what I just said. Because the learneth Europeans, not all, but the ones who learneth ones, they understand. They understand we not the same. That's why they go into them labs and use white mice. Look it up. Mm-hmm. A white lab mice is nothing but an albino mouse. Now, the more prevalent mouse out here is the brown mouse. You can go catch it as you want on the streets. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And do your testing and all that stuff in the lab around the brown mouse. But why don't you use them brown mice?
Right.
Why don't they use them? They use the white mice because, first of all, they're studying, and they're researching according to their own genetic makeup. Not ours, their own. We just happen to be. You know what I'm saying? So they use mice that is more conducive to their own genetic makeup. We are not the same.
What's his name? Bruce says that segregation is extreme. We don't need to segregate to have our own institutions. Black people are not going to receive equal opportunities in a segregated society. Been there before. And so our response to separating, right, for a time. Like I said, I know some people would think some people would think that it's extreme. Why do you think it's fear-based? You think that we can't survive without?
Exactly.
You think?
I think that's fear-based. I think because we don't have anything to attach on to, because we don't know from whence we came. I think when you understand who we are as a people, our history and what we have done on this earth, and the things that we've accomplished, in the beauty and royalty, and the things and the rulerships that we have accomplished, then you already know what we're capable of. We don't need no other people to intermingle and boost us up and give us equal rights and jobs and all those other things, because you understand we have the capacity within ourselves to do all that for ourselves,
right,
like every other nation on earth has done.
So, Bruce Cox, if you are still on.
We got a call?
No, your camera.
Oh, shoot.
It flipped.
My camera flipped?
Yep.
Dang, family. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay, Bruce is on. We hear you, Bruce.
No, this is Jamal.
Oh, we have a caller.
Mr. Jamal Mohammed.
Ooh, I ran out of batteries.
Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? No? He's not there?
No.
Yeah, he said he tried already, so he would have tried again.
Okay.
Caller?
You there?
I'm here.
Hi, Mr. Mohammed. How are you?
I'm doing fine. What's up, Alqamar? How you doing? This is DJ One Love.
Oh, DJ One Love in the house. How you doing?
All right, you sisters are looking beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
What you got? What you have to share, brother? I'm laughing
Well,
already.
I mean, y'all hit it dead on. You know, we as black people got to understand the circumstances that we are in this country.
Yeah.
You know, this is a country that was built off of crime, off of lies, off of the oppression of black people, and off of the Native Americans. And it was set up for the Europeans to progress. And nothing has really changed with that, because we're talking about the system of white supremacy. And when you're talking about the system of white supremacy, you got to understand that everything that exists in this country, and now, rest in peace, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talked about it all the time, is built so that white people can stay in power.
Right.
This has nothing to do with hate. This
Right.
has to do with the fact that we have a group of people that classify themselves as white, who are trying to survive on this planet. So
Yes.
when we talk about inclusion and we talk about, everybody working together, the melting pot theory, it doesn't work, because we've never been equal. I mean, when you have a race, you have a competition, everybody's supposed to start at the same starting point.
Right.
And that never happened.
Absolutely.
right.
And that's one of the things that black people and white people are in denial of, is that we started off as equal. We didn't start off as equal. So for us right now, if you're running 400-meter yard dash or 400-meter race, and you look at everybody, we're dead last with a broken leg, and everybody else is telling us to keep up, and that doesn't work that way, and that's what's going on with us. So we need to heal ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves first as a people before we can start integrating and moving on with other people.
Absolutely.
And I know that scares a lot of people because everybody wants to be kumbaya and work together, but hey, you can't take care of other people's homes on your street if your house is out of order.
Absolutely.
That's right. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jamal. I appreciate you calling in. And what you got going on? I saw something. You got a party, an old school jam coming up. You there? Oh, we missed him. I wanted him to share with us where he's going to be DJing next. But yeah, family. I lost the Facebook family.
Yeah,
so are you still on? Can we get on through you? But
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to keep it going. So you can definitely find us on elifemedia.net. Our discussion today is can you talk Black empowerment and date outside of your race? Is that a contradiction?
And Brother Jamal, I'm glad that he touched on that, and that's really my point. It's not to be extremist in my approach. It's that I understand that we have so many issues. We didn't have enough time to heal from slavery.
Right.
Before we were told, we were told that now you can integrate. We're going to allow you.
With the same people that enslaved us.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget about that important fact.
Absolutely.
The same people that enslaved us, we're now integrating with. This is an interesting dynamic.
Because they said it's okay.
Right. Right.
Because they said it's okay.
And why would we want to do that?
Right.
Why would we want to do that? Why wouldn't we want to set up our own existence outside of the slave master's children and what they are offering?
Someone said, Purcell, you're right. We do not need validation from no one. We must overstand our power.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Bruce said he tried to call in. So we'll see if he calls back. He said he tried already.
Why do you think Black men date outside of their race more often than Black women do? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm not a Black male. I that's a question that I can't really speak to. I can make my assumptions on it, but the men that I know don't. So I really can't speak to it. Yeah,
I wonder if because we hear a lot that it boils down to not loving yourself. If you choose or not loving yourself enough, that if you choose a mate that doesn't look like your mother or father, then what does that say? Or you look in the mirror every day, and if you want to, if you love yourself, I would imagine you would want to reproduce yourself. Right. You will want to present to the world who the way you look and who you are and your everything that entails that. Right. And when you don't do that, then what is that saying about how you feel about yourself?
I've heard the stories as far as why women do it, but as far as men, I can't really say. I take a phone. Okay. We have a caller. We have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller, you there? Hello? Okay, I don't, is the volume all the way down? Caller, you there? Hello? I don't know why I just heard him. Yeah. Okay, well, try to call us back, caller, because I don't know why we weren't able to pick you up. But, yeah, we'd love to hear what you have to say. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. What happens if this trend continues? If we don't step back, it's going to be to our own detriment. Okay. As a community. Okay. So I think our caller is ready. Caller, you there? Okay. Hi. How you doing?
It's the more love again.
Oh, wait, who is it? Oh, Jamal?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So can I speak as a Black man on the question about interracial dating?
Sure. Yes. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, first of all, let me say this, and Alqamar, you know me. Mm-hmm. I cannot be with nothing but a Black woman.
Okay.
All right, and that's because I understand the significance of a black man and a black woman being together, and that you need our love and we need your love.
Mm-hmm.
But I have quite a few friends that have dated white women and some that are married to white women, including family members. And although I'm not against interracial dating, is not something that I recommend under the current circumstances that we are in. But when I talk to black men about this, often their reason, or if you want to call it an excuse, is that it's difficult for them to be with black women, that black women may be harder to deal with. Those I don't agree with, and I don't find those as an acceptable answer because, I don't know how many black women are in this country, but there's millions of them, and they haven't dated every black woman to say that. Just like any black woman that would say the same thing about black men, that would be very unfair to sit there and categorize all of us as the same. And yet, also, the more important thing is that we need to understand that this system, once again, makes it difficult for us to be with each other intentionally.
That's a good point.
And so a lot of black men do it because of multiple reasons. One of the main reasons is because they want to get back subconsciously at the white man or white supremacy. Right. And a lot of them don't even realize that. Some of them think that will validate them as equal as a man, and they allow this system to dictate what their manhood is supposed to be. And then the other issue is that culturally, when black men start to make some money, as in the professional athletes and entertainers, they tend to want to be, once again, on the same level as a white man, and they want to be with women, and this is from the words of their mouths that I've heard, that understand and appreciate a man with money or a man with education and so forth. But once again, those are horrible excuses. Right. Chuck D and Public Enemy made a song called Polly Wants a Cracker years ago, back, I think it came out in 1990, talking about both sides of that fence. And it's a subject that, I personally can't understand how, under the circumstances today, we could be so attracted or want to be in a relationship such, in interracial dating under these current circumstances. But, the whole love is love thing is true, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
But, like I said, a lot of black men, it has to do with the system of white supremacy conditioning their brains. I look at black women as the most amazing thing on this planet. They're the best. And despite any hardships we may have with each other, any hardships they have with themselves, I still look at them as the top and the best. They're the mold for all of humankind. So, but we have to understand that we have been taught to hate ourselves. We have been taught to hate our women.
Yes,
We've been taught to hate the black woman's features. When you look at magazines, I was just at a store yesterday. And
well, Jamal, let me cut you right there. Unfortunately, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't have the time. I'm sorry. Can you hear me, Jamal?
As a young black male.
Okay, well, we had to phase him out, and I apologize for that because we don't have a lot of time left over. But the brother was just basically speaking on the behalf of a black man's perspective as to why so many brothers date outside of the race versus the women, because it's like 3-4 times as many times. And I think the media has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely.
The media has a lot.
Behaviors.
Yeah, a lot of our behaviors has the media has to do with that.
Yep.
And that's why we have to be really careful with I don't even watch TV no more. I think I turn my TV on like twice in a whole year. Because I understand what that thing does. Yeah. It's a one-eyed monster, and I like to protect my subconscious as much as humanly possible, and I know how it works and maneuvers. And I took a self-created poll one time, and where I just turned the volume down on the TV one day, and I just flipped through every channel, just flipped to see what the image was going to be for every channel. And it was over 100 channels, and I think I came across maybe nine channels that had black people on it. Every other channel, I seen a European face. So I'm like, if you bombarded all day, every day with all that Europeanism in your eyes, you know what I'm saying? Then that will have an effect on your psyche. But anyway, we have run out of time. Again, we have come to the end of our Empower Hour. I know you family guys had a whole lot to say, and we apologize. My phone died. It died midstream, and so we had to boot it back up. And so you catching a very, very tail end. If you want to see the entire show without no interruptions, go back onto elifemedia.net. That's where we live stream every week. Facebook Live is pretty much a courtesy that we do for the Facebook family, but the show itself is aired on elifemedia.net. You can find the full show right there. We did have a lot more to say when the phone situation went down. And if you can't get us on elifemedia.net right away, give us a few hours. Go on to and like our page, which is the Empower Hour Talk Show. That's our page on Facebook, and we put up all our shows there. So give us about an hour or two to get the show up onto YouTube, because we do post it there as well, and we also post it on our Facebook page. So you can go back, you can always view it. You don't have to be live. We would appreciate you live so you can join in on the discussion, but you can share it, all that other stuff right off of any of those mediums. Okay, family, again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week with the same time, different topic. Peace.